Welcome to the 2021 Oligo Nation Inspiration event. Joining me tonight is my younger brother, Spencer, who's 30 years old and lives in Petaluma. He is an avid guitar player and loves tennis and golf.
That was my older brother, Zach. He's 32 and lives in New York. He has a PhD in astrophysics and loves to play tennis and is a ping pong savant.
We are the reason that Oligo Nation was initially created.
You see, we were both diagnosed with oligos more than 10 years ago, and our father, Brock, started Oligo Nation to advance medical research to help oligo patients like us.
Starting a nonprofit, raising real money, and building a team to ensure the money is invested in the highest opportunity projects has been a lot of work and taken some time. But Oligo Nation is making a huge impact on oligo research more and more every year.
We're so glad that you could join us tonight. Of course, we were hoping to raise money to fund research, but tonight's 40-minute program will also highlight others in the community that are doing great things to support the oligo community.
As you have noticed, we are not all together tonight, which is a bummer. Having been at the big New York City event in 2019, I can tell you it is a special experience to be together with such a big group that is all there to support each other. I look forward to seeing you all in person next year.
But we know some people are holding watch parties at home to add to some of the social fun into this event, and I think we will be breaking away to visit a few of those parties.
Living through a journey like we, and so many of you have, has obviously been challenging, but it has also shown how every person can make a difference.
And we want to thank each of you for your commitment to making a difference by supporting Oligo Nation.
Enjoy the show.
Hello, I'm Jill Hennessy, and I hope you will join me, Oligo Nation, Team Courage, and the most amazing, wonderful warrior babe, Miss Jody Kay, as we raise money to find a cure for Oligo. You might wonder why I'm wearing these glasses. Let me tell you, because they're bright, they're sparkly, they're beautiful, and they make me happy when I look at them, just like Jody Kay. There's the connection, okay? So have an awesome time tonight, people. Just enjoy yourselves. Feel free to dig deep. Feel free to donate. Maybe check out the auction. But definitely have a good time. If you see Jody, give her a huge squeeze and a kiss from me because she is absolutely fabulous. And let's stamp out this horrible disease.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Oligo Nation Virtual Inspiration Event. I'm Heather Thompson, and you may recognize me from the Real Housewives of New York City. But more importantly, my best friend, Jody Kay, has an oligo, so this cause is close to my heart. I'll be your MC for the evening, and we are excited to have you with us tonight as we support oligodendroglioma, that community and Oligo Nation's drive for a cure. Tonight we will hear from Oligo Nation on both progress made and future plans, as well as hear from a leading clinician and scientist in brain cancer research on key breakthroughs and opportunities for new treatments. We will also recognize leaders in the fight against oligo, both medical and personal. Plus, we have some amazing items in our silent auction. We'll be tuning in to watch parties, feature shout-outs from Oligo Nation community members, and learn more about how your generous contributions to Oligo Nation are funding breakthrough research. Tonight, I'd like to thank all of our top sponsors, including our research sponsors, the Spain family and Security Risk Advisors. Our advocacy sponsor, Servier Laboratories. Our impact sponsors, Ackman Ziff Real Estate Group, the BB Foundation, Drew Patrick Spa, Karen and Stephen Harrison, Frederick and Sarah Crest, and Sirius Computer Solutions. Our community sponsors, Apple Leisure Group, Barish and McGarry PC, the Mullen Foundation, Okta, and Palo Alto. Let's give them a virtual round of applause. With their help and yours, we are confident we will reach our goal of raising $250,000 this evening. Before signing off, I'd also like to take a minute and give a big thank you to the co-chairs for tonight's event. Honorary chairs, Jody Kay and James Perry. Event chairs, Elise and Adam Mandel. and event chair Mike Towers. And another big thank you to our event committee and our board of directors, whose names you will see on the screen now. Your passion and dedication to supporting the Oligo community and research do not go unnoticed, and tonight would not be possible without you. So we want to make sure we hear from all of you tonight. Be sure to join the chat stream to send us some love and send some shout outs to your friends, family, and colleagues throughout the country. We need your help tonight to reach our goal of raising $250,000 to support medical research. Our Text to Give campaign is now live, and you can text OLIGO to 76278. You'll receive a link to the event page where you can donate. That text code will also provide you a link to our fantastic silent auction. And you will also see a button underneath the screen if you are using a phone, or to the left of me if you are using a computer, to both donate and guide you to the auction as well. Okay, everyone, get ready because we have a great night ahead of us. To get started, let's take a look at some of our hottest auction items, which you can also view on the bar to the left of the screen under Items, or again, by texting Oligo to 76278. Not only are there vacation packages and artwork available, but also treat yourself kits for your self-care needs, golf outings, fitness offers, and more. With this cold snap we've been having, I'm keeping an eye on the Turks and Caicos vacation. Those pristine beaches, they look too good to pass up. If you'd rather keep it a little closer to home, there are other fantastic options for travel to Sonoma's wine country or to a getaway villa just outside of Palm Beach. But if you're happier with a staycation, you can throw a private party in a bar underneath the Chelsea Market or enjoy a Long Island golf outing. Those are just a few of the fabulous items in our auction. Make sure to check it out and get your bids in before the auction closes tomorrow, November 18th at 5 p.m. Eastern. Now, I'd like to introduce you to a part of the Oligo Nation that has been a true inspiration to us all, Team Courage. Team Courage was founded by our honorary chair, Jody Kay, a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, and a friend. After her diagnosis with oligo, Jody's closest friends rallied to help raise money to fight this terrible disease. And Team Courage grew quickly, and Jody and her team joined forces with Oligo Nation. Let's hear from some of the members of Team Courage.
I have known Jody for probably 12 years now. She's a powerhouse, awesome girl.
Jody is the absolute best. She's the warmest, most loving, generous, kindest person I know.
I would say we fell in love with each other as friends.
I remember when I first found out that Jody had a brain tumor when our children were in school together in elementary school.
Yeah, I was actually with Jody when she started to find out about this. She called me, she's having really bad headaches, so I got in a cab, went down, picked her up at her apartment, and we went to the hospital, and then at that point they started doing a lot of testing.
She had called me, she had gone to the emergency room, and she said that they said that she has a tumor.
In the beginning, when I was diagnosed, I was scared to death, and I stayed in for quite a while. It's a scary word. Brain cancer. People get nervous and people want to help.
We had a goal to save her, right? So we wanted, what can we do? We didn't know about research. We didn't know about money so much.
Well, we initially started at a very local basis in terms of doing our cycle for survival, and we dubbed ourselves Team Courage in honor of Jody.
The first event we had was in a friend's apartment, and it was packed to the rafters. We had doctors, other patients, and people within the Oligo community.
Being in a small environment with a bunch of friends made it as if it were just a regular party.
The first event for Team Courage was off the charts spectacular. It was successful because of the energy and engagement of Team Courage and because of Jody.
The second event was definitely more organized. I remember looking up and seeing Jody and about 4 other people that are just beaming and smiling.
So suddenly we were surrounded by so many people that were new to us, but everyone was there for the same cause.
And as each event got bigger and we partnered with Oligo Nation, you could see how much need there was and how grateful people were and how much they enjoyed being together.
It was great because all of us kind of brought something different to the table. So yeah, the first year when we were doing it in Elisa's apartment, I think we made over $50,000 that year. And then the second year when we had it in a venue, we were able to have a lot more people, had more space for silent auction, etc. I think we made over $200,000 the second year.
This was just one crazy idea, one evening, and it led us to more evenings together, which we all always wanted.
There was so much love and so much generosity and tears and kindness. I mean, you really felt supported by the people around you.
I never realized how good being a part of this volunteer effort could make me feel. It's wonderful to think that any of us have made an impact in even one person's life who's battling oligo.
It feels very energizing is the best way to put it. It was just extraordinary, seeing it all come together, big, little, small, all for Jody, all for this incredible cause.
Just being part of the team to support your friends is meaningful for all of us.
The main thing we learned was, try something. There's all different ways you can make money for a benefit or a fundraiser, and so just give it a shot.
You'd be surprised what you can accomplish when a bunch of friends get into a room and start brainstorming.
Friendship for me is similar to what I said, just showing up, being there for someone, for the good, for the bad, for everything.
Friendship to me means kindness, love, caring.
Honestly, it describes Jody. Friendship is just one of the most important things to her, and she is the true definition of a friend, always there for you.
You need loving and supporting friends. You don't need a formal organization to help you with every small piece of detail. You need a group of people that can come together and be willing to do whatever they need to do to make it work. And I think that most people hopefully have a group that can give that to them.
What an incredible group of people to put so much into supporting their friend and the greater Oligo community. Our next feature is not about fundraising, it's about advocating for your loved one, fighting for the right treatments, and helping others to do the same. The 2 women featured in this next video, Jennifer Kalkman and Sherry Shaw, showed initiative and resolve to get their sons access to proton radiation. Though Jennifer and Sherry have different work experience and skills, they share a deep commitment to their sons and the resourcefulness to overcome life's obstacles. They are also committed to paying it forward, using what they've learned to help others. Let's hear more of their story.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Kalkman, and my son Steve was diagnosed with an oligodendroglioma grade 3 on June 9th, 2016, when he was 32 years old.
My name is Sherry Shaw. I'm the parent of Derek Willingham. Derek was 34 years old when he had a seizure at his job at NASA Johnson Space Center.
June 9th, 2016. That date's burned into my brain because they incidentally found a baseball-sized brain tumor. And then we were told we needed to follow the Stoop protocol with chemo and radiation treatment. We knew we wanted proton and we didn't want to settle for photon that was offered. We were really lucky that we have a proton therapy center here in Oklahoma City. Got signed up and ready to start treatment, and he was denied by the insurance company. So I made a post and my friends started sharing it widely. I was contacted by 2 people who had seen my social media posts, and they turned out to be the greatest mentors in the world. One of them had a daughter who had successfully mounted a PR campaign against the same insurance company. And then I was contacted by a woman who was a former state legislator here. And she really took me by the hand and taught me how to navigate the insurance company, what to do step by step. It turned out after several days of me calling and spending hours on the phone with the insurance company that it had been a pediatrician in Tulsa who overruled our radiation oncologist. They went to an outside contractor who wrote a report and footnoted 14 studies about why proton therapy was experimental for oligos. My son and I sat and looked up those 14 studies, and most of them actually supported our side. They'd just thrown them in there for shock and awe because they thought we wouldn't really review them, and eventually got us approved. The process with the insurance company took about 6 weeks. My son, in 2 weeks, will be a 5-year survivor with no recurrences. So I count that as a win.
I live close to a proton therapy center in Florida. I knew proton patients. I was very aware of the treatment option, but it wasn't offered to us in the beginning. We proceeded to apply for proton radiation through our insurance company. We were also prepared for insurance to deny us, which happened. We appealed and the insurance denied us a second time. I reached out on a Facebook group, made a post about proton therapy and our first denial, and instantly I received a private message from another mother.
About a year after my son completed his treatment, I was still active in all the Facebook groups, and I saw a post by a lady named Sherry Shaw, and she was asking if anyone had ever had to pay for proton therapy out of pocket because of insurance denials. And so I contacted her and I said, "Oh, don't do that. Don't do that."
And that night, she and I exchanged a lot of messages.
I introduced her to the mentor who had helped me, and the 3 of us worked on her son's case.
And she coached me basically to establish a social media campaign.
And Sherry is an absolute rock star, and she just took off with it.
That night, I drafted a press release. I sent it out the next morning to everybody I could find in the Houston area, television stations, newsletters, newspapers, radio stations.
Less than a week, she had PR coming out her ears about her son.
1 week after we had exhausted our appeal process, Blue Cross Blue Shield reversed its decision to deny Derek proton therapy. I was absolutely ecstatic, and Derek was relieved. I noticed more and more people were posting online that they were being denied insurance coverage as well. I developed a playbook that shows a step-by-step protocol for developing a press release, getting a link to a social media clip that could then be posted online and provided out to the insurance companies.
Over time, Sherry and I found several other people in the Facebook brain tumor groups. One of the first ones was Paul Pinke. Sherry and I messaged back and forth and talked with him and said, "We can help you." We went down the same path we'd done with our sons, and he got his overturned, I think in 2 days, 2 or 3 days. It was amazing how quickly he went about it, and he got news coverage too.
I want to use my advocacy background to help other patients. I also want to get a cure for oligo tumors, so I'm involved in Oligo Nation for advocacy reasons, my passion to support the efforts to find the research that treats this rare type of tumor. It is very much a part of me now.
By joining Oligo Nation's fundraising efforts so that they can fund research that will help us all. And so I want to be behind that 100%.
So very impressive how Jennifer, Sherry, and others have worked to support patients and caregivers as they fight the insurance companies to get proton treatments approved. Let's check in on some of our watch parties now to see how we're doing.
Huzzah! We miss you. Wish you were here.
Thanks, Heather. We could not wait till next year's live event, so we decided to grab some of the team members of Team Courage to celebrate tonight at our own watch party.
We love that video and are more motivated than ever to stamp out oligodendrogliomas.
Looking forward to seeing everyone in 2022. Thank you for all your support for Oligo Nation. Love you!
Looks like a fun night there. Cheers to you all. And a reminder, our Text to Give campaign is now live. So you can text OLIGO to 76278 to make a donation and to view tonight's exciting silent auction. Up next, let's learn a bit more about a top researcher in the field, Dr. Jeremy Rich, Deputy Director for Research at UPMC. He is a leader in the field of cancer stem cells and personalized cancer therapies for brain tumors. His impressive resume includes key roles at Duke, Cleveland Clinic, and UC San Diego.
Hello, my name is Dr. Jeremy Rich. I currently serve as the Deputy Director for Research at the University of Pittsburgh Medical Center Hillman Cancer Center. I'm a professor of neurology at the University of Pittsburgh, and I also have the honor to serve as the lead scientific advisor for Oligo Nation. My laboratory focuses on brain tumor stem cells. These are the cells that are most resistant to therapy and allow us to have a new understanding of brain cancer and hopefully target them in new ways. I was really excited to receive the call from Brock to consider how to contribute to Oligo Nation. Immediately, we bonded because we both were people who wanted to disrupt the status quo, to really understand how to come at this important set of tumors in a way that's new and doesn't just do more of the same as has been done for so long in brain cancer research and therapy. Cancer research in general works in such a way that we need money and resources and be able to answer important research questions. Very often that kind of set of resources goes along with the most common cancer types. The federal government and other agencies have a tendency to put the most money in the most common cancer types, which is understandable, but this often leaves neglected less common cancers, rare cancers like oligodendroglioma. To date, the Oligo Nation efforts have been centered on several areas. One is just making it easier for researchers to do the kind of research focused on oligodendroglioma. For example, taking patient tumors and making sure that they can grow them in a dish, making it so that they have the tissues from which they can do the testing to make sure that oligodendroglioma specifically is being tested to find new therapies and to find out what makes these cancers tick. In addition, trying to understand how to pull new ideas into the field. What we want to do is think about creative people who may have ideas on how to study this disease that we might not have thought of and may be very specific to oligodendroglioma. Then identifying also the thought leaders who can really help us think about how to really build the long term of the kinds of research that are most likely to be successful. Cancer research is evolving incredibly quickly. Our understanding of cancer as a complex system has allowed us to understand new ways of attacking these issues. Gone are the days when we just thought of tumors as just a bag of cells that have genetic events, but rather, more importantly, there's aspects of the immune system, there's aspects of the blood vessels, there's the cooperativity between different tumor cells and other cell types. And all these areas like immunotherapies, cell-based therapies, oncolytic viruses, and also targeted therapeutics are changing incredibly quickly. We're also taking what was one big cancer type and splitting it off into smaller groups where patients may respond to specific therapies more effectively, and also thinking about combinations, so not just one approach, but other approaches in combination. And I expect there to be very soon increasing numbers of patients who do incredibly well for long periods of time, especially in a disease like oligodendroglioma. As a clinician and scientist, I'm very excited to see that the research that we're doing in the laboratory is starting to be translated into changes in the way we treat patients. The research is moving forward so quickly that I have anticipation that in the next few years there will be changes where we'll start to see patients fighting oligos successfully and making this disease a thing of the past.
Thank you, Dr. Rich. Now, I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Andrew B. Lassman, the Chief of Neuro-Oncology at Columbia University Irving Medical Center, who we are honoring with a Nobility in Science Award in recognition of his unwavering commitment in furthering brain tumor research and for his outstanding care of helping patients in navigating through the different treatment options. His research and clinical efforts focus on improving the understanding and treatment of brain tumors and on translational clinical trials for brain tumors to refine treatment paradigms. Join me in congratulating Dr. Lassman on receiving tonight's Nobility in Science Award.
Hello, I'm Andrew Lassman. Thank you for this tremendous honor, and I am humbled by it. This award reflects not only my own work, but that of many collaborators around the world, as the treatment of oligodendrogliomas requires a team. For example, our team at Columbia University Irving Medical Center and New York Presbyterian Hospital includes approximately 30 clinicians, coordinators, and others dedicated to the relentless pursuit of new knowledge, leading to new therapies and ultimately a cure for oligodendrogliomas and other brain tumors. The support of Oligo Nation and the courage of patients and caregivers inspires me and many others every day. Clinical trials are the best hope that we have to advance the field. And as you are undoubtedly aware, trials for oligodendroglioma are particularly challenging because the disease is so rare and trials can take years, if not decades, to complete. For example, my colleague, Dr. Laura Donovan, will present long-term follow-up results from a clinical trial that started 25 years ago at the upcoming annual meeting of the Society for Neuro-Oncology. Dr. Fabio Iwamoto is leading an effort with immunotherapy for patients with oligodendrogliomas and other related tumors. Efforts such as these depend not only on traditional sources of government funding, but also critically on philanthropy for their success. Thank you for all you are doing to partner with us in our never-ending search for new knowledge and for helping us to translate discoveries into new treatments.
A huge thank you for Dr. Lassman for all you have done and continue to do for the oligo community. Up next, we'd like to introduce the recipient of tonight's Courage Award. This award honors those individuals who have fought courageously throughout their oligo journey and are willing to share their story to help create awareness about this disease. Without further ado, I'd like to present this year's Courage Award to Dr. Richard Burns. Dr. Burns was diagnosed with an oligodendroglioma in July of 2020. He's undergone treatment and is back to living life to the fullest. Join me in applauding Dr. Burns' strength in battling this disease.
My name is Dr. Richard Burns. I'm a radiation oncologist and also an aesthetic specialist. About a year ago, I experienced an episode of vertigo while I was working. I was brought to the local emergency room, and in 15 minutes I was in a CAT scanner, and 30 minutes later they told me I had a brain tumor. Well, in the next 2 months, I went through surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, and continued the chemotherapy until last September. The entire time I've been relatively asymptomatic. As a matter of fact, I've been able to go back to work and continue my practice administering Botox in the spa we own and doing radiation therapy on a part-time basis. I'm quite fortunate that I've gone through all this with relatively few symptoms. It's probably one of the most scary things that I've gone through in my life, being a cancer specialist and having a brain tumor. But I must say, I was surrounded by expert physicians, caring, loving friends and family, and a wonderful supportive community. That's not true for many other people who have oligodendrogliomas. The work of Oligo Nation is very important for those of us that want to move forward and find better treatments and a cure for this disease. And I thank you for participating in our cause.
Thank you, Dr. Burns. We so appreciate you sharing your oligo journey with us all this evening and all you have done to support the Oligo Nation community. It really does take a village to make a significant impact. Speaking of that village, let's hear from the mayor. I'm excited to introduce Oligo Nation's founder, Brock Green, who will tell us more about what Oligo Nation has been up to this year. For those of you who don't know Brock's family story, his two 30-something sons were diagnosed with oligo at 17 and 21. After working with the Brain Tumor Foundation for 3 years, Brock realized they were never going to solve the problem. So he started Oligo Nation, and the rest, as they say, is history.
Hi, my job tonight is to brief you on what we've done in the last 12 months, what we've been working on, the accomplishments, as well as to give you an idea where we're heading for 2022 and beyond. Our primary mission is advocating for and funding research, so we start with research, of course. There are 2 clinical trials I want to update you on quickly. The first is the PARP inhibitor trial that we funded research to include oligo in that trial. It has gone to a phase 2. We're hearing some positive anecdotal stories in terms of how it's working for patients. It's not widely available now, but we can help put you in touch with the places that are offering it if you get in touch with us. And the second is the Tibsovo trial, which was originally an Agios drug, which is now part of Servier Therapeutics. And that has gone to a phase 3, which means it's very widely available both in the US and internationally. And it's only for grade 2 tumors. There are 2 of our initiatives that are really starting to change the research landscape for oligo. The first is our biobank. It includes our cell line repository. Cell lines are the building block for research, the first building block. And they were very hard to get your hands on before. There were only a few, and getting them from one lab to the next could take 6 months or longer. We now have them in our repository. We make them available to researchers in a week or 2. And as a result, we have over 20 labs that we've provided these cell lines to, which means that they're now in a position to do oligo research that they wouldn't have done in the past. The second part of the biobank is the tissue bank, and we have about 100 samples in there now. And we've sequenced the first 70 for whole genome and RNA. And the whole genome is the first time that's ever been done for oligo patients or oligo tumors. The second initiative is partnering with the National Cancer Institute to leverage their expertise and resources. The first program we're running with them is a high throughput drug screen. They're running thousands of existing drugs against our cell lines looking for efficacy. And to the extent that they find drugs that look like they could work for us, some of those drugs could go direct to clinical trial or be further investigated before going to trial. But because these are existing drugs, there's a lot of steps that you don't have to take in terms of getting to a trial. The second program that we're working with NCI on is advanced sequencing of tissue from our biobank. The 70 samples that we did our sequencing on, the whole genome and the RNA, have gone down to NCI, and they're now going to basically throw the whole omics program at these tissue samples. People talk about DNA sequencing. There's all sorts of genomics. There's DNA, there's RNA, there's metabolics, proteomics, phosphoproteomics, single cell, ubiquination. They're doing all this. They're going to do all this on our disease. And what it's going to show is it's going to show how the cancer affects different elements of how the cell operates. And hopefully we'll identify other targets for us to go after to defeat this disease. In addition to these kind of structural programs that we have been running for years, we made 4 more translational grants in the spring for a total of $500,000. They're going to Duke, University of Texas Southwest, AstraZeneca, and University of Florida. Each of these projects is taking a new therapy against a new target to see if it is effective. And if any of these show efficacy, the hope is that they would get to clinical trial within the next 2 or 3 years.
Sounds like Oligo Nation has a lot of important research programs underway and that the real progress is being made. Up next, we'll hear from several Oligo Nation board members on their involvement and commitment to Oligo Nation's mission.
I believe the work of Oligo Nation will save my life.
The work of Oligo Nation is about as important as something can get. And that's because it's about saving lives.
It's to save tens and thousands of lives, to find a cure, to eradicate oligodendroglioma from the face of this earth.
It's also about being smart. You know, I believe so much in what Brock Green is doing and what he can do.
We've put together an advisory board of neuro-oncologists that have done a great job directing our funds to the appropriate places where the money can be most efficiently spent and get our best value.
Well, I live a full life, and I have something that steals your life, and that's not fair. I don't like the way that makes me feel. I've never hoped more for anything else than hope for this disease.
I would tell my physicians early on when I was diagnosed is even if I have horrible news, please give me hope. Without it, it's just too difficult to go from day to day.
Oligo Nation, we breed hope. Our commitment is hope. Our research information for you is hope. Clinical trial availability is hope. Positive trial results is really hope.
One of the things we know about oligo is that it is one of the cancers that many researchers believe is treatable.
Listen, if anybody can move the needle, it's Oligo Nation. They're involved in everything. Anybody that's doing anything, any PI, any scientist, any doctor that has anything to do with oligodendrogliomas, Brock is working with.
But just a year ago, I interviewed the top researchers in the country on this disease. Each of them explained how they now have many pathways to a cure. They know the work that has to be done to get to a cure.
You start to see some results, patients enrolled in clinical trials, medications being tried. It's tremendous. It gives you a smile. It just makes you feel happy. There might be another 10 years. I might see grandkids. I might be able to go to my son's graduation. It's invaluable. And Oligo Nation is by far my best path to hope.
And it's going to happen. I just know it's going to happen. And that's why I'm involved. And I will always be involved. I will never give up on this mission. I will never not have hope that Oligo Nation and my contribution can make a difference.
This can happen, and we're in a hurry to get treatments and to get them soon. That is, I think, why it's so important to be involved and so important to be generous.
Now, I have the pleasure of introducing the artist Stephanie Togney. Stephanie's artwork is a reflection of how she sees the world, and it offers a glimpse into her dreams, daily experiences, and long ago memories. Deeply inspired by nature and the humble rural environment she grew up in, Stephanie is constantly seeking beauty in unexpected places and circumstances. Since she was young, Stephanie always liked to make ordinary moments feel special, and she hopes to express this in her painting. Stephanie has used artistic talent to build awareness and raise money for research. Let's find out about her 100 paintings for My Brother project.
Tell me a little bit about your brother.
Oh my gosh, if he were an animal, he would be a golden retriever. My name's Stephanie Togney. I live in Lake Oswego, Oregon. I grew up in a tiny town over in Eastern Oregon called Imbler with my mom and my dad and my brother. I just have a lot of wonderful memories growing up in this really small community. My brother is just a really great human. He's just, and I'm gonna get emotional.
I was diagnosed with brain cancer in November of 2017.
I just remember getting that news, and it was in the morning, late morning, and I just cried. I couldn't do anything else.
Probably one of the hardest days of my life. Knowing that I had to tell, just accepting that as a fact.
I was like, I just need to go for a run. I need to process my thoughts. I just wanted to help my brother. And so while I was running, I thought, what if I could do 100 paintings for my brother, and of all different styles, sizes, price ranges, so that it could really be inclusive.
Even as Stephanie, as a young kid, our whole family knew she had a special gift as a painter and an artist. And she was doing artistic stuff from as soon as she could hold a crayon. So when Stephanie told me that she would giving that much of her energy, time, and talent to, something that would help me. So it was very moving and touching.
He was my first friend. Knowing that Oligo Nation was dedicating most of their funding toward research, it really means the world to me. To have a little bit of optimism, to know that they're making such a big difference and making strides every day.
I don't think you can say it much better than that.
That is an amazing story. I love how Stephanie's response to Steve's diagnosis was to use her artistic gift to support research. And the artwork itself, it's just beautiful. And as it turns out, Stephanie has agreed to offer a painting for the auction tonight. It would be a commissioned painting that would be part of her skiing collection. I'm going to look for that one. You can have you and your family or friends captured in the painting, working directly with Stephanie. This is a $3,000 value, but the opening bid is just $1,500. You can place your bids on Stephanie's artwork as well as our other auction items now, such as gift baskets just in time for the holiday season, or fitness packages to prepare to work off those inevitable holiday pounds. Just click items on the bar to the left of your screen to see all the auction has to offer. Before we wrap up, let's check in on another watch party. How's your night going, everyone?
Hello, Heather. Welcome to our watch party here on Long Island. It's wonderful that Oligo Nation is giving me the Courage Award as a survivor of oligodendroglioma. And to the rest of you who are tuning in tonight, thank you for your contribution. Back to you, Heather.
It's so amazing to see people come together to support this important cause. And Oligo Nation will continue to need your support as they roll out big research initiatives in 2022. Here again is Brock Green to give you a preview of some of the major initiatives planned for the year ahead.
Looking to 2022, we're looking to go big and be bold. We're going to ramp our investment in research 3x to $1.5 million next year. And a lot of this money is going to go to a new program that we're launching, which is going to be basically a research network for oligodendroglioma. It will have expert leadership and some of the best people in the neuro-oncology field working together in a team science approach where there is only one goal: clinical trials, getting to the clinic. And this particular model has been used in several cases so far and seems to be effective. And this will really allow us to ramp up our activity and, more importantly, to generate results, generate trials that get into the clinic and in relatively short order. So we're super excited. This is what we've been thinking about, planning for. It takes a whole different level of financial investment. It's going to be $1.5 million a year, and you have to do it for at least 4 years, because if you want these labs and these institutions to dedicate the right resources to us, it can't be a one-year thing. So we think this is going to change the nature of what we're able to accomplish in a really meaningful way going forward. It does mean that we're going to need to raise 3 times as much money. And that, of course, could sound daunting, but I think we're in a good position to do that now. We have so many more people that are part of the Oligo Nation community that know about us. We do need to get more people to help us. And we are looking for your help tonight and next year and the year after that and the year after that, because this is not a quick fix, unfortunately. But we're super excited about the future. We have a specific fundraising campaign for next year where we're hoping we can raise several $1 million in 6 or 9 months to give us kind of our nest egg and real confidence that we can spend that $1.5 million to $2 million every year going forward. But it's going to be big, and I hope you guys will be with us for the whole experience.
Thank you, Brock. I love that Oligo Nation is planning to increase research by 3 times in 2022. Now, before we sign off, we are on the way to hitting our goal of raising $250,000 to support Oligo Nation's mission. You can text Oligo to 76278 to make your donation, or you can donate directly on the event site. I'd like to thank you again to our generous sponsors that you can see here on the screen. And thanks again to our incredible honorary chairs and event co-chairs, Jody Kay and Jim Perry, Elise and Adam Mandel, and Mike Towers. We see some bids coming in for our fantastic silent auction. You can win a Long Island golf outing to Sands Point Golf Club, accompanied by one of our very own event chairs, Adam Mandel. And most of all, thank you to each and every one of you for making this evening so special, for reaching out to your colleagues and to your friends and family to raise awareness of oligodendroglioma and for supporting Oligo Nation. I just received the news that we have beat our goal of $250,000. We beat it. Thank you so much for your support. We love you and appreciate you. Thank you. As they say, it takes a village, and you are all certainly one exceptional and fabulous looking village. Thanks again for joining us. Have a great night.